Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, how are you? Today we will complete Unit 4 for Mega Goal 5, The World of TV. For meaning and function, today we will use comparative and superlative forms of adjective. We also identify some words connected with space. Let's start with comparative and superlative adjective. We use comparative to compare between two things or two people. We can use more or less plus adjective for long adjective like expensive, interesting, beautiful, or adjective plus er for short adjective like small, fat, fast to make the comparative. For example, detective stories are more or less popular than stories about space travel. Where is the adjective here? Excellent. Popular. It's a long adjective. So we use more or less than. Goldfish are smaller than a clownfish. Goldfish are smaller than clownfish. So we add er than because the adjective here is small. We can use some adverbs like a little, slightly, much, a lot, considerably, definitely, and certainly to express how much something differs, or to add emphasize for sure. For example, children's TV films are considerably better than they used to be. Here we add the adverb considerably and we use better than. Better is irregular adjective for good. Now we can also use as plus adjective plus as. Why? To compare things that are equal or similar. Finding Nemo is as good as Toy Story. How can we change it into negative? We will add not as adjective as to compare things that are different. Finding Nemo and Toy Story are good TV films, but not as good as The Lion King. What about the comparative? We use the comparative to describe two actions. The second action happens as a result of the first. The more I hear about Giza pyramids, the more I want to know. Or, for example, the harder he works at speaking English, the better he becomes. Now, the superlative forms. We use the plus adjective plus est for short adjective, or the most or the least for the long adjective. The Nobel Prize is the most prestigious award a scientist can win. The most plus long adjective. The company director agreed that it was the least attractive offer, but he was obliged to take it. We can use the expression by far to add emphasize. The Lion is by far the best TV film of all. We use the best. The superlative form of good is the best. It's irregular adjective. Please write these notes. For comparative, we will add er plus than for short adjective, or more or less plus what? Excellent. Plus long adjective. And what about similarity? We use as plus adjective without any addition plus as. And for superlative form, Yes? Who can tell me? Excellent. We use the plus est for short adjective or the most or the least for long adjective. Is it clear now? Okay. Now we will read the next exercise number 8. We will write sentence about the animals using comparative and superlative structure. For example, both cheetahs and tigers are big cats. Lions are the biggest of the cats. Where is the adjective here? Excellent, big. We add est because it's a small adjective. The biggest tigers are as big as lions. They are equal. Cheetahs are a lot smaller and more slender in comparison. We add er plus small is a short adjective, and here we add more because slender is a long adjective. The cheetah is by far the fastest land animal on earth. Now, exercise number B. Imagine you are a contestant on a TV quiz show. Work with a partner, ask and answer the question. Question number 1. What is the most widely spoken language? Excellent. It's Chinese Mandarin. Number of speakers is about over 1 billion. What is the tallest mountain? The tallest mountain is Mount Everest. What is the largest desert? The largest desert is Sahara, North Africa. What is the deepest ocean? It's Pacific Ocean. Number 5, what is the most populated city? Excellent, it's Shanghai in China. It's about 13.3 million people live there. Number 6, what is the largest lake by size? It's the Caspian Sea, Asia, Europe. What is the hottest place? It's Dalal, Ethiopia. What is the driest place? It's Aswan in Egypt. It's 0.02 inches of rainfall a year. Now, we will learn some vocabulary or words about space or connected with space. Look at this information about the planets in our system. How many planets are there in our system? Excellent. They are 9 planets. Name of planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Distance from the Sun: Mercury, for example, is the closest or the nearest planet from the Sun, and Neptune is the farthest planet from the Sun. And here we talk about the size and number of moons. For example, Mercury has no moon, but Jupiter has 68 moons. Some geographical feature or special facts. For example, Mercury is a rocky planet. What about Earth? It's a rocky planet. It's inhabited. There is life on it, and it has mountains and some volcanoes. Keep in mind that our solar system used to be described as a group of 9 planets, but scientists now consider Pluto to be a dwarf planet. Dwarf means extremely tiny. Here are some irregular comparative and superlative adjectives. For example, well, better or the best, far, farther or the farthest, old, older or elder, or the oldest or the eldest, bad, worse, the worst, good, better than, or the best. Exercise number C. Use the chart above to find information about the planets. Choose the correct word to make true facts about our solar system. Some planets are much bigger and farther away from the sun than others. Jupiter is by far the biggest, and Mercury is the smallest in our solar system. Mars is farther from the sun than Earth. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. It's so close, it's so near to the sun that if you stood on the surface of the planet, the sun would appear at least 3 times larger than it does on Earth. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are all rocky planets, but Earth is the only one that inhabitable, which means that people, animals, and plants live on it. Venus is the only slightly smaller than Earth and has many high mountains and volcanoes. Venus is so close to the sun that the land is what? Yes, hotter than boiling water. Mars is a rocky planet and is known as the red planet because of the red color of the planet's surface. Mars is almost half the size of Earth. The 4 planets farthest away from the sun are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They are very cold because they are so far from the sun. And icy places. Jupiter has the most number of known moons. Jupiter's 4 largest moons were observed in 1610 by an Italian astronomer called Galileo Galilei. Saturn has the most spectacular ring system of all planets. There are 7 rings made up of dust, rocks, and ice. More than 40 spacecraft has explored the Saturn, but only one has visited Uranus and Neptune. Neptune is the farthest from the sun and makes a complete orbit around the sun in about 165 Earth years. Thank you for you and goodbye, my dear students. Take care of yourself.